I want to teach you how to make money selling mini loaves. With the global economic downturn, you can agree with me that you need to offer products that people will buy on a daily. So even when you make wedding cakes, you make birthday cakes, you make all of these cakes, you still want something, products you can offer and make money from on a daily basis. Products you can use the money, for contribution, for a susu or a job, whatever it is you choose to call it. This is one of such products when it comes to the baking industry. And if you're not a professional baker, you just love to bake, you love cakes, you love yummy treats, this is one video you also want to watch. In this video, I'm not just going to be teaching you the recipe and giving you all of that. I'm going to be teaching you how to make one single recipe, how to make it more complex, how to make it look more beautiful. I'll teach you costing and pricing. I will teach you how to offer this product in order to attract the audience, the things you want to attract, and most importantly, how to market this product. Because it goes way beyond having a good product sometimes. It's also how you market it, how you package it, how you brand it goes a long way. Please, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please kindly do that. Help click the subscribe button. It encourages me to keep creating these free tutorials. And also click the thumbs up button, like the button. When you click the thumbs up button on this video, they just know that people want to watch the video and they help push it more for further visibility. Drop a comment in the comment section if you have any questions whatsoever, or if you have feedbacks on any of my previous videos. And don't forget to share this video with your friends, family, loved ones, and across all Bakers platforms. People need to get this video. This is one video that everyone needs to get so you can make money on social media. There's money to be made, trust me, there is money. And in case you're wondering who is my instructor, my name is Oluwabukola Ajayi. I'm founder of Naija Bakers, and we are across all social media platforms. So please click the link in my bio or my Instagram page, and that way you can connect with me across all social media platforms. And I also sell kitchen equipment, so if you need industrial kitchen equipment of any capacity, please check me out at Naija Bakers Mats. That is the page on Instagram to follow, and I will sell nothing but the best quality to you. Let's dive right into this tutorial. The very first thing I will do is measure my margarine. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Margarine is what is readily available in the Nigerian markets, and I want to believe in almost every African market. So margarine is what I use for my recipes, and I use Tarona margarine. And the reason I love this particular margarine is that it gives me that butter feeling. There's just this thing about it. It's lush. It's European styled margarine, so it's like butter. That's why I love using this particular margarine. You can see how soft that is. That goes into my mixing bowl, and the next thing I'm going to be adding is the sugar. So we're going to cream the margarine and the sugar together as the base for the recipe. If you watch my video on YouTube, you will notice there's one thing I will always say. Please scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl when you're mixing your cake batter. That is one of the very first steps in getting a good bake. It is not possible for your sugar to dissolve in your mixing bowl. All you want to achieve during this creaming process is just that light airy texture of the margarine or butter, depending on what it is you're using. So that is just what you want to achieve. You want it to combine, you want the color to change, you want it to have that pale color, you want it to be lightweight. That is just about it. So by the time I drop this mixer and just go about it once more, I'll begin to incorporate the eggs. I want to start adding my eggs one at a time. Now I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients, which is the flour. We're going to be adding the flour and the baking powder into this mixture now, and I will alternate it with the milk. So we have milk and all that there. I have this. I'm going to be explaining everything to you. So the reason why we alternate, when you add a little bit of dry ingredients, you add a little bit of milk, is because we don't want to activate the gluten in the flour. We want the flour to stay flat, if that is a word when it comes to baking. We just want it to stay flat. We don't want it to get angry. Yes. So we use the milk to calm it down while it's mixes and incorporates together. So let's get right into it. So the very first thing I'm going to add is, this is the baking powder. So let me add my baking powder to my flour so I don't forget that. And I begin to add the flour. So that goes into that. And we begin to mix on low speed, please. So for this recipe, like I said, it's all about making money, right? And I'm going to be teaching the costing, the pricing, aside giving the recipe. Now, what do we do? If, for example, you want to sell these mini loaves, these mini loaves at a supermarket, you want to stock the supermarket and all of that, you can't just bake fresh cakes without any form of preservative and think it's going to work. It's not going to work. That is nothing but the simple truth. A lot of persons will come to you and lie to you that it's going to work. I don't put preservative in my cake. But everything you buy in the market, the milk, the soft drink, and all of that, everything has preservatives in it. It has preservatives. That is the reason why they can package dairy, which is milk, and store, in the supermarket for 1 year, for 6 months. The spaghetti you buy, the rice you buy, everything has preservative. So sorbic acid is one of such preservatives that you can use. This is sorbic acid. And for this recipe, use just 1 teaspoon. So use 1 teaspoon for this recipe, and that way you can preserve your cakes for a long period of time. If you decide to, supply supermarket these mini loaves. If you decide to supply just your random customers, because someone has bought mini loaf, a pack of 6, a pack of 8, a pack of 12, does not mean they are going to consume it immediately. Some persons will keep it, some persons don't have deep freezer. Because it's easy for us to say, put it in your deep freezer, put it in your deep freezer. But if I'm buying mini loaves, I don't want it frozen. Because I want it to be something that I can just wake up in the morning, make a cup of tea, pick one and I consume. And this is approved as a safe preservative for food. So you can add 1 teaspoon of sorbic acid to this recipe. So if you increase the recipe, increase the sorbic acid, that way your cakes will not go bad on time. Most bakers will not tell you this. A lot of bakers use this. If bakers don't use it, it's not going to be in the market. Another preservative you can use is lemon. Lemon is one preservative you can use. So because I'm consuming this and I'm giving this out to people, it's not as if it's going to stay for a while, a long while. I'm going to be using lemon as my preservative. Sugar is a preservative in your cakes, but this particular cake is not sweet. The reason is because you want people to buy your mini loaves and be able to pair it with, soft drink, with beverage, with coffee. So you don't want it to be too sweet, but at the same time, you want it to be yummy. So I'm going to be using a little bit of my lemon. So in here, I have 1/4 cup of water, room temperature water, and I'm going to be adding half of this lemon because it's quite a big lemon. The reason is not even up to half. The reason is you don't want it to be too much, because if it is too much, what do you end up getting? You end up getting a lemon cake. So you don't want the taste of the lemon. All you just want is the acidity of the lemon to help you fight through the dairy and every other ingredient that is in there in the cake, so that the cake can have a long shelf life. So that is that. I have added not up to half because the lemon is quite big. I have added the juice of this into this. And you can use the Nigerian lemon. If you're in Nigeria and you buy the organic grown lemons, you can also use that. But I always buy the foreign one. This is what I usually have access to. So now I'm going to be pouring this into my batter. Now we have this out, and we want to make money. We want to make money. We don't want it to just be one flavor. Because if you're saying something is mini loaves, if someone buys a 6, 4, 10, I want to believe they should have access to different type of flavors. That's why it excites them to want to, always buy from you. Cocoa powder. I have 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I have 1 teaspoon of red velvet coloring. And I have some chocolate chips here. So I want to transfer the cocoa powder into a bigger bowl. The cocoa powder is in a bigger bowl. And I want to scoop just a little of this luscious batter. To scoop just a little into this and add a little bit of water. So the water I'm going to be adding is like about one tablespoon, 2 tablespoons thereabout. And that will be it. I scooped that into there, and I'm also going to scoop a little into this. This is the one I have, the red velvet food coloring. So if you don't have red velvet food coloring, you can always use red food color. So that is that. I'm just eyeballing this, I'm just scooping out a little to make chocolate cake and to make red velvet cake. Don't forget we have lemon here. Lemon is acidic. So lemon serves as your vinegar if you're making red velvet. So we'll just, and this is cocoa powder. I'm going to be adding a little bit of water to that to help loosen up the cocoa powder, and we'll continue from there. So you can see, and the color just changes immediately, and you want to mix that. You see, look at the texture of the batter. It looks like whipped cream. That is for you to know that I did not over mix my batter. Then I'm done with that, and I move on to the next one, which is the one that has the cocoa powder. So the one with the cocoa powder, I also want to do the same thing. I want to mix. And you ask, why did you add water to the cocoa powder? You need to add water to it. The cocoa powder is quite dry. So if you don't add that little water to it, the cake will be dense. We don't want a dense cake is not a bad cake, but we want the cake to be moist. This is not browning. This is cocoa powder. And it's not what's it called? It's not cheap cocoa powder, it's good cocoa powder. So you want cocoa powder, and this is food color. If you want this to have that red velvet taste, you can add a little bit of this chocolate to it. That's introducing the cocoa powder that is meant to be in the red velvet cake, and just mix it together. Incorporate that very, very well too. The next thing I want to do is I want to grease my pan. So this is the kind of pan you want to buy for mini loaves. If you know you want to sell mini loaves, these are the kind of pans. It comes in different sizes, but this is one of such pans that you can buy. For me, I love this size. It just works. And this is margarine with a brush. Try and get this silicone brush. It's very, very, very good. It just helps makes your job less stressful. So try and get it. You can easily use it to grease your pan. I'm dusting my pan with flour. What I want to do is I want to scoop this batter into this, and you can use anything to scoop, but for me I'll be using an ice cream scoop. So now let us go. That is a scoop. See, it just makes the job very, very easy. And so if I want to add a little bit of red velvet to this, I will just do little. Then I will use my skewer. To combine it together. Just a little. And it's just going to be red velvet and vanilla together in one whole. A little bit of chocolate batter, and we swirl. And just want a chocolate swirl. Yes. And the red velvet here, I can add to the side here. Just be creative, just play with it, go with the flow. So this one is going to be vanilla with chocolate chips. That is what I'm going to do with this one. I have chocolate chips here, and this one is just going to be vanilla with chocolate chips. Chocolate cake with chocolate chips. Yeah. Let me set this aside and introduce this. So in case you don't want to go the route of this, mini loaves, you can also go the route of foil papers. You can buy this. It's quite cheap. Let me not use the word cheap. It's quite affordable. You can buy these and use these as your offering, your daily offerings. If you don't want to go the route of this, you can go the route of this. So this also works. So let me make one of this. And if you're selling, you can always measure. But for me, I always use the scoop. With the scoop, I can just quickly know how many scoops per container. 274. That is the quantity of the batter in there. And I will just try to blend this together. From this batter, we got this and we got this. And all you just want to simply do is you want to put this this part, the aluminum part, is where should face down, because you want to be able to easily remove it. So that is the part. You just take it in, then you begin to cinch in the edges, and you just begin to cinch in the edges just as so. And we have this. So for this one, you just, so this is not a cake that you want soft. You don't want it soft, but you want it to be moist. You want it to be nice, and yummy, but you don't want it soft. The reason you don't want this particular cake soft is because by the time you pack it in the packaging, you don't want it to break during delivery. And this is it, and it's going into my oven, and this is going to bake at 300. Please, you don't want the heat for this to be too high. We're not doing 350, we're not doing 325, we're doing 300, and that is the heat we're going to be baking this, the temperature, oven temperature. Then when the cake comes out of the oven, I will teach you the packaging, and I will teach you the costing and the pricing. Yes, our cake is out of the oven, and as you can see, our mini cakes looks very, very, very beautiful, and the cake in foil also looks beautiful. Let's quickly do the costing and pricing for this cake. Don't forget, for this recipe, we're able to get 8 mini cakes and 1 cake in foil. This is what we're able to get. Let us quickly do a rough estimate. Let's say, for example, 1 kg of Tarona margarine is 1,000 naira, and we use 200 grams. So that means we use Tarona margarine 200 naira. Let's say egg. We know egg right now is 200 naira per one. So that is 3 eggs. That is 600 naira. Then sugar. I used 160 grams of sugar. Let us estimate that also at 200 naira. Calculate it. What you do is that you check how much is a kg of that ingredient, how much is a kg of flour, how much is a kg of butter, how much is a kg of this, how much is a kg of that. That way you'll be able to estimate the grams that you have used from the kg. So even if you buy a carton, simply divide the carton. So if you buy a carton for 50,000 naira and that carton has 50 kg, so that means that 1 kg of that product is how much. So that is how you will be able to cut down your prices for you to be able to do the appropriate costing for your product before you price it. So sugar, let us say 200 naira. Baking powder, I use 1 tablespoon, let's say 50 naira. Flour, I use 300 grams of flour. So let's say that is 600 naira. Because like I said, when you calculate 1 kg, that is 10 grams. When you calculate 1 kg, that is grams. 100 grams in 10 places is 1 kg. So you calculate 1 kg of that product, the price, you'll be able to break it down to the quantity you have used. So for flour, we say 600 naira for the 300 grams of flour. And for vanilla, I used 1 teaspoon of vanilla, let's say 100 naira. Then milk, I use 150 grams of milk. So let's say the milk is 150 naira. Let me write that down. Is 150 naira. So that will be 1,900, if I'm not mistaken. 200 plus 600 plus 200 is 1,000 naira. Plus this 600 here is 1,006. Plus this 100 naira, 1,007. Plus this 100 naira, 1,008. Plus 15 naira, 15 naira. That's 1,900. So for the price for this that I use in buying the ingredients, if the prices I estimated was true, please, I'm not saying I use 1,900 to buy these ingredients. If the price I estimated was true, it could be lower, it could be higher, I don't know. So you check how much it is you are buying your flour, your baking powder, all of those things. Then you begin to, get the quantity you use. It's very, very easy math. So if you buy, for example, if you buy 1 kg of flour, 5,000 naira, 100 grams in 10 places, that is how much? 500 naira. Do you understand? So that means 100 grams will be 500 naira. So if I use 300 grams of flour, that means I use 1,500 naira worth of flour. That is it. That is how you get the pricing for the ingredients only. So if you are saying 1,900, for example, on this, then what else do you need to cost? You need to cost your gas. You need to cost your salary. You need to know how much you charge per hour, standing and walking per hour. So if this cake takes you 30 minutes, how much do you charge for 30 minutes? So if you are, as a business owner, you need to know how much you charge per hour. That's why when you travel abroad in societies that work, they charge per hour. It could be 30 pounds per hour. It could be 25 pounds per hour. So if you are charging 100 naira per hour and you work on a cake for 2 hours, that means it's 200, that is 200 naira for the 2 hours. You are going to write it down there. The work time, it has to be there, 200 naira. So as a business owner, it's left for you to decide how much you charge per hour. So every hour, every moment you spend, every time you spend on working on a cake, you should be able to cost for that time. Then you should be able to cost for gas. You should be able to cost. How do you cost for things like gas and stuff like that? It's very, very easy. If you're familiar with your cylinder, you even know how many hours your cylinder cooks for before you exhaust it. So if your cylinder cooks for, let us say 20, let's say your cylinder cooks for 100 hours, and you buy your gas at 20,000 naira, all you just simply need to do is just to add, and you just divide the 20,000 naira 100 hours. So per hour of that cylinder working, you know how much the amount of gas it is your oven is consuming per time. Then you use that to calculate that, okay, how many hours or how many minutes did this product spend in the oven. So if you are using oven gas of 200 naira to bake this, you should know. Then you write your 200 naira. Rent is there, miscellaneous and everything, all of that, and the electricity bill and all of that. Data you also use to post and everything comes into play. Then your packaging. So if you are buying paper bag, if you buy 100, you should know how much 100 is. Then if you are removing one to package this, you should know how much it is you have removed. So if you are using the seal that says do not accept if broken, if you make 1,000 pieces of that seal, you should know how much it is per one. You write it down under this 19. So gas, we say 200 naira. So how much is your time per hour? So if your time is 200 naira as well, you write 200 naira. So you write it down until you are able to break down this product. You break down this product. So if you multiply the recipe, for example, because you have customers, and you multiply the recipe to the point whereby you can make 10 of these trays at once, and you have a deck oven, and all this case goes in at once in your deck oven, you still estimate your time. So if your time still falls under 200 naira for 2 hours, that is it, fantastic. That is how they pay salaries abroad. That when you work for 10 hours, they will add it up to 25 pounds per hour times 10 hours. So even if it's a staff that is working on a cake, for example, you should be able to know if your staff is productive or not by just you understanding how much it is the staff charges per hour. Then you add it up onto this. So you put packaging. If you're using nylon, if you're using plastic bag, you have to put it. If you're using paper bag, you have to put it. If the seal, you have to put it, and all of that. And then you now put additional profit. Additional profit simply goes into maintenance for your oven, for when you want to upgrade your mixers and all of that. That is where you are going to be getting it from. So basically, what most people used to say is that at least for baking, you should just 100% profit. But most bakers that I know, most successful bakers that I know, do even 300% profit, 300% profit, 200% profit. But for a business like this that is handy, that we want to use to attract people, we don't want the profit margin to be too much, because what we are trying to focus on is volume sales. So 100% profit should be fantastic. So if at the end of the day, after putting your 100 naira, 200 naira, 100 naira, 200 naira, 100 naira, 200 naira, and you come up at, let's say, 3,000 naira, which it won't get to that. You come up at 3,000 naira, for example, that means that this thing here should sell for 6,000 naira. Because that remaining 3,000 naira is not your money. Don't forget, you've already charged for your time by hour. That is your salary. That is what you accumulate at the end of the month that you give yourself as a business owner, or you used to pay your staff. You used to pay your staff. So the 3,000 naira here is for you to set aside and keep somewhere in the bank, because at the end of the month, at the end of the year, or at the end of the month, or in 6 months, you want to upgrade your oven, you want to upgrade your mixer, you want to buy steel tables, you want to buy steel racks, which you can always buy from me on Instagram, by the way, at Niger Bakers Mart. That is where you get that money from. So for a product like this, 100% profit at least, or at least to attract customers, for the first few weeks, for the first few months, you can do 50% profit. So if after calculating and everything with your salary, with your working hours and everything, it comes down to 3,000 naira. You can say, okay, I'm selling this entire quantity of cake for 4,500. Just to do what? Just to attract customers. So you know that 115, you are setting it aside. 115, you're setting it aside into yourself. And trust me, if you are able to attract the right audience to sell this to, 115 seems small, but by the time you sell this package, 10, 15 of it in a day, 10 of these in a day is 15,000 naira. You want 115 set aside. Your salary is already there when you calculated, when you arrive at 3,000 naira. Then you now make a profit of a savings of 115, and you sell 10 of these in a day. That is 15,000 naira. 15,000 naira in 10 days is 150,000 naira. Can you see? That way you'll be able to upgrade your equipment, you'll be able to do all of these things. The best packaging for products like this will be clear bags like this. There are different sizes in the market. I actually have the big one, but I just didn't put it to mind to look for it before I started this tutorial. So this is the small one. So this is clear bags like this is actually the best packaging to use for products. You put your sticker, your company sticker here. The note, don't accept if broken seal here, and you put your company sticker here. Why I love the idea of the clear bag is that it keeps advertising you even during delivery. So if the delivery guy is going with it, or the person comes to pick up and everything, everybody can see it. Why I also love the idea of the clear bag is that if you pack 10 orders in a day, for example, and you lay it on this table, just imagine how beautiful it will look when you begin to record that, and you post on your Instagram, you post on your TikTok, you post on your Facebook, you post on anywhere it is you sell your market from. Hence why I love the idea of the clear bag, and it's a very affordable option, because you can just simply go to the market. People that sell plastic bags, nylon, they are the ones that sell this. It comes in different sizes, so you buy the size that suits your packaging. One of the cheapest to start with. All you also need to do is just go to a printer. They'll print stickers for you, so you're not doing any luxury packaging, sort of, and it's still very beautiful. It's still very, very presentable. So on your own, when you just put the cupcakes inside and everything, you just peel one of your stickers and you place it here, you seal it up here, and that is good. And please don't use staplers. I cringe when I see people use staplers to staple chin chin and food. Pins should not come in contact with food. It should never come in contact with food. So I always advise, and why I like this bag again is that when you peel off these parts, it just automatically adheres itself. So it's self-adhesive. Hence why I love this packaging. Another packaging you can use, like I said, is paper bag. So paper bag will do a fantastic job for you. So for the paper bag, it's going to be two packaging, because for the paper bag, it has to be inside something before you can place it inside the paper bag. You can't just pour the cake inside paper bag and say take and go. It's not possible. So for the paper bag, it becomes two packaging. But for this, it can be one packaging. And for this, it can also be two packaging. It can first be inside this one, then you place inside a branded paper bag. But for me, for marketing of this, cost of production needs to be very, very, very low. If the cost of production is very, very low, by the time you are done producing, your time, your gas, the ingredients and everything, by the time you are done producing, the cost itself will not be too much. So by the time you are adding your 50% profit, or your 150% profit, or your 100% markup profit, the cake will not be too expensive, because this is meant to serve as an alternative for things like chin chin, meat pie, biscuits, cookies. That's what this is meant to serve as an alternative for. So who are your competitors when it comes to this size of cakes? Your competitors are those who sell snacks. So you want to give people reason of, why not get this 9? Why not get 9 for 4,000? Or why not get 9 this for 8,000? And how do you market this? You're marketing it as, you don't market it as it comes together. No, we sell this 1,000 naira, for example. We sell this 3,000 naira. Don't forget it's from the same quantity of butter, and you've already done your calculation. If you sell both for 3,000 naira or 4,000 naira, it still works. But no, that's not how you're going to market it. So the marketing of this is going to be a psychological kind of marketing. Combo sales. You now say, we sell these 8 for 3,000 naira. We sell this one for 1,000 naira. But because you are buying it together, we want to give you a combo sale this weekend to get everything together for 4,000 naira. Everybody loves a good sale. Every single human loves a good sale. So when you give people a deal, they are very, very happy. They are excited because they see it as a steal. But for you as a business owner, you can never run at loss. You've done your costing, you've done your pricing. You understand that from this same butter and this same thing, you could have still sold for 4,000 naira and it's a good deal. So 4,000 naira is meant to still be the price. But because you've separated it, and you are saying this is the price for this is the price for this, and if you bring it together, you are saving 500 naira, you are saving 700 naira, they will rush it. Another way you can market this is check my channel. I have lots of amazing drinks video. Zobo is there, Kunu Aya is there, normal Kunu is there, and everything is there. You can also make Zobo. You can make Zobo. Watch that video, it's very, very good. Watch the Zobo video and all the Kunu videos. And you can make Kunu or Zobo and you add it to it, or even fruit or juice, and you add it to it and say, if you get these, 8 of these are mini cakes with this bottle of Zobo. Our Zobo sells for XYZ, this sells for XYZ, but together you get it for this price. Or for this weekend, 4,000 naira, and you're getting a free Zobo. Don't forget you removed this. You must never run at a loss even when you're running a sales, because it's meant to sell together for 4,000, right? But you remove this and you say for this weekend 4,000 naira and you get a bottle of Zobo. For this weekend, this, and you get a bottle of Kunu. In their mind, they are very excited that you're giving them free, that they are cheating you. That is the idea, that they are cheating you, not knowing that you are still going to sell this one separately, and the money for this will make up for the money for the Zobo. The money for this will make up for the money for the Kunu. And that is how you sell things like this. Because like I said, your competitors for this are those who sell snacks. People who sell meat pie, people who sell chin chin, people who sell cookies. Those are your competitors when it comes to mini loaves such as this. So you need to be smart, you need to outsell them, you need to outsmart them using psychological pricing. But it boils down to your cost of production must be very low. So whatever packaging you are trying to do must not be expensive, because we don't want to keep shooting up the cost of production. I hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that this is a good product you should produce every day and make sales from. You can sell these at schools, university, polytechnic, secondary schools, primary schools. If you have any such institution in front of your shop, please try and find a way to sell these. If you have a storefront, you can put this in the display, in your display case. People will rush it, they will buy it. And if you go to church or you go to mosque, reach out to the elders in your church and mosque. Tell them to give you a space in front of your worship center, so that after service, you can sell stuff like this, and you make money. So this is a very, very cool, easy way to make money. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you have subscribed to the channel. Please kindly do that. Share this video with others. And don't forget to always drop a comment with your questions and your feedback. And I always try my best to attend to as many as I can. And I'm definitely going to see you in the next video. Bye.